married, Shelly Williams, single, never been married, no children, and I think we've come to the end of the road for the children. But anyway, let's go to the right. Introduce yourself.
I'm David, better known as Mr. Goodnight, professor at College of Sociology and Human Services, and the father of two fine young ladies.
Beautiful.
Ooh, wow. I am Joanna Northern. I am known as the CF Coach. I'm a career and financial coach, recent author of Because She Jumped, in revision, and will be available September 1.
Woohoo!
I'm Buddy Love. I'm a comedian, actor, and also an inspirational teacher.
Inspire me.
Exactly. All right, go ahead, inspire you.
Oh, it's my turn. Hi, Nikki Fell.
She be here sometimes.
Married, dating, have wonderful children, grandchildren, friends, businesses. Look me up.
Hey everybody, this is your girl Rena JD, aka your brown skin candy girl. I am married and a businesswoman, and I love to have fun.
I'm Danielle Patterson, a local attorney. Been sitting here next to Shelly to her left, even though somebody tried to take it for many, many years. Out here single, lots of dating, because we know, looking for that man that's ready, willing, and able to handle
All of this.
all right.
All of it. Oh, I like your shoes. When you put them, oh yes, they are so.
Remember when I was in a wheelchair and couldn't wear heels?
I do. I remember.
I
Recovery
know.
is amazing. But Nikki Phelps doesn't really do anything for her book. She has a book.
I know, right?
It's called XXX. It is an amazing book. You have to. It is all about different types of lifestyles, and that's part 2 of our show today. Today we also, different lifestyles. It's part 2.
Yes.
Different
We're
lifestyles.
talking about, when you're in a relationship, from the other show, the top 3 reasons, everyone, when relationships break up are
Sex.
and
Finances.
Money. No, communication.
Sex, money, and communication. But
so we had that show where we talked about the money.
But I don't think we even finished. I think we didn't finish talking about the money. We had one more question,
here's a
and then
visionary.
we're gonna go. So we got one more question about the money.
So that we could go on to the sex
So
part.
we can go into the sex.
We want to talk about the sex part.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
But the question had to deal with, to close that show out, is bringing to the table. We've all heard that concept. What are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the table? So my question to each person on the panel is, when someone asks you that question, what was the first thing that came to your mind when somebody says, well, what are you bringing to the table, Joanna? What are you bringing, buddy? What are you bringing, Shelly and Danielle? What are you bringing, Nikki? So my question is, what are you bringing to the table? And what does that mean?
So when I hear what are you bringing to the table now, at this point in my life, it's far beyond money. What's in my wallet is the last thing that we really need to talk about. Everything else in terms of your behavior, your relationship with God, your relationship with your family, your loyalty, your work ethic, your ambition, your drive, those are the things that we need to talk about first. Because all of that is what I'm going to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Not saying that money isn't important, but really how you are in that part of your world ties to how you actually operate within your finances. So I don't think about money first. Yeah.
Buddy Love.
Buddy Love.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same thing. It's like I'm very big on, again, vision. Like, where we going? Like I have a vision, and I already been through in my life where I had a vision, but secretly she had her own. And so, once my vision took longer than in her mind how it should took, it was like she started working on her own vision, and I don't even know nothing about that. So it's like, for me, it's like vision, and we working on the same thing. We got the same goals, and as we do that, I've seen what happens when people become a partnership, and when they're on the same page. I saw things actually work easy, but when it's not working right, I know something's off. And so for me, it's like we see the same thing, and we can rock out.
Shelly, what was an issue for you?
Well, initially I said that I always thought what bring to the table was money. But what I learned here was that it is more than money, because I only learned this because years ago my mentor, Dorothy Brunson, she had a client who came in, and he walked past my office, and like I said, he just was so fine. I promise you, he had the suit on, he was fine. So he looked like money, but I knew because she's rich, he had to be rich. But anyway, I said, oh yeah, and she was like, he don't want you. What are you bringing to the table? So all these years, I thought that what you bringing to the table was money. So I thought that I had to get money before I was going to meet or be with that guy that looked like that with all that money. So I'm thinking I got to get money. So that's what I'm trying to do, get money. But that's not it now. I have vision.
Danielle.
I have vision, right? I have vision.
Danielle, that's
I don't have
why.
money when I got vision.
Dr. Danielle.
My answer has, will, always been.
Yeah.
All that I am and all that I have to offer. So I think that's different for every individual that I meet, because his needs are going to vary at different stages in his life. Different people need different things. So kind of like Buddy Love was saying, well, your table can't be a circle and his table's a hectagon. Well, you know what? Hectagons easily become circles when they need to be. You just let a couple of leaves down. So we are ever evolving and ever changing, especially when you are committed to making that work and that lifestyle with that person. Because I'm gonna tell you, if I get to be 50 years old and I'm still the same person I was at 18, then what we have is a problem, period.
What I would say is very similar to what my newfound friend here has said, Esquire, is money can't be the bringing to the table, because of the fact that money is great now. Money is great in the here and now, but what happens after a while? Like we were talking about signs, and one thing I was saying before about Sagittarius is that we're easily bored. You can't bring me the same thing constantly over and over again. Yes, I love fish, but you can't bring me fried fish with rice and broccoli and give it to me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 weeks straight, because guess what? After a while, I'm like, you know what? Get that out of my face. I don't want it anymore.
Start cheating on the fish.
Yeah, I'm saying it's my favorite thing, but I don't want that same thing all the time. Sometimes I may want a piece of chicken. Sometimes I may want just some vegetables. But all I'm saying is you have to be able to bring something more. You have to have ambition. You have to have drive. You have to have determination. You have to have the intellect. You have to be able to support me as I support you. Just because, and Buddy Love said we have to have the same vision. I don't agree. I feel like you can have your vision, I can have my vision. As long as I respect you, you respect me, and you have your direction, and we can grow together. We may not grow in the same direction, but if we're growing together, and I feel that I'm going to support you, you feel like you can support me, there's nothing that we can't do. I'm one of the ones that believe in the black girl magic, the black male magic, where we can work together if we're willing to put egos aside, if we're willing to take ourselves out of it and stop being so self-centered and selfish. I think that there's nothing that people can't do, but it's just a matter of people being willing to compromise.
You never take Shelly's mic.
Okay.
Reach to your right.
What do you bring to the table? Again, I'm the romantic, and I'm always looking at the vision, the dream, and the goal. But I learned a very valuable lesson from Ms. Danielle S. Patterson, Esquire, over here, because when I met my husband, we didn't have nothing. We literally had debt. It was called student loan debt. We didn't even have a place to live. We had to borrow money to get our first place to live, okay? We didn't have anything. So all we had was a vision, a dream, and a goal. But now that I'm my age, whatever age that is, what are you bringing to the table? You can't come to the table at my age and still have that. I do have an expectation that over these years, you have accumulated something. So again, if I'm seeing an 18-year-old, what do you bring to the table means I might accept more vision, goal, and drive. But let's say you 58 and you come, I'm expecting you to have some more resources. That what do you bring to the table? And everybody is different. And for me, it depends on what relationship I'm going to have with you to decide what do you bring to the table. Right. You know, I could be talking to my mom on Thanksgiving. You come into my house, what do you bring to the table?
Don't bring no soggy potato salad.
No, I mean, that's just like, you know, you got your sex joint, you got your real joint, you got your side joint, you got your other joint. You don't expect all of them to bring the same thing to the table. You want to have a feast.
Yes.
So you want to bring everybody
That's a
to the
different
table?
conversation.
That's
a different conversation.
I thought we were going to
She's
start
trying to
talking
go
about
to the
lifestyle.
sex conversation.
Yeah, let's
I know
go
that
to
was
the
sex
sex
conversation. I was trying to give you a segue.
So we're going to go
you a
to a break.
segue.
She gave you a nice segue. So we're going to go to the break, find out the number 2 reason why people get divorced. So this is Single on a Saturday night right here, TGI Fridays. Thank you to Howard Gilliam Jr. of New Video Production. He does weddings. He does bar mitzvahs. He does music videos. He does it all.
Pole dancing thing.
We do pole dancing. Oh yeah, pole dancing for time. Yes, he will record that as well.
Oh, I'm like, wait a minute. We was all confused.
That's the Pisces in it.
We were all confused.
That's the
And you know
Pisces
what?
in it.
If you want to see some of that, you should look it up with Tasty Travel.
That's right.
We should have a show around time. Just have the ladies come to Single on a Saturday night and have a poll, and they audition.
No.
How we should take them back
How
to
about
the
we fix
club.
time up with somebody? We're gonna go to this break.
the club?
Dating with Tom.
No. We just do like a matchmaking thing.
We should do a matchmaking
listen, he likes his variety. You leave Tom alone.
We
You trying
gonna
to
give
put
him some
out there.
variety.
You putting him out there. He may not want just one.
We might get him one that's down with three.
Make
He
sure
wants
y'all
the
ask
We
assorted
might get him
donut.
one that's down with three.
He wants the assorted donut.
We know what kind of donuts Tom like.
I felt like Cinderella.
I said, that's fiction. I dropped my hat and ran.
The whole veil comes off.
A little bit X-rated. Happy birthday, Tracy!
Hit the gas and took off.
Hey, ready? We are right here at TGI Fridays, 4000 City Ave. It is Single on a Saturday night. We do this every fourth Saturday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We talk about love, relationships, and you don't have to be single. You could be married. Like, one over there is married. She's married. You could be divorced like one over here. I'm just
Why
saying.
you doing that,
you don't
though?
have to.
Why are you doing that?
Can we get to the part where we talk about sex?
Let's talk about
What is
sex.
that?
So
That's
what is
always
the
fun.
number two? We said the number two reason people get married is
It's
sex.
some type of sexual related situation, whether it's infidelity, because that's the one people think about, or you're just not being satisfied. Again, none of us are like 18 anymore, I'm sorry. And most of us have been around the block at least once,
At least once.
twice,
Well, I was standing on the corner for a little bit.
whatever, on the corner, whatever.
I didn't meet Tom, though.
So, we have sexual preferences on both sides, and sometimes we get shy or we don't want to share them, or sometimes men have this thing where they put their women on a pedestal, like they want to do all this stuff with them, but you know, not my wife.
Yep.
Then
I mean,
we
I had one that was
Just the opposite. We have women that do all that stuff, not with my husband. And if they were really talking, they would both realize that they were made for each other, because both of y'all hiding that big secret, and y'all probably would do better if y'all was just honest. Again, you attract that what you are at your deepest core. Most of us are running around trying to be something that we're not. But if we're just honest with ourselves and be who we are, we'll attract who we are, and we could just go ahead
What if we don't
have
know
whatever
who we
kind of
are?
Then you need to
sexually?
find out.
No.
There you go. You need
What if
to
we
find
don't-
out.
What if we don't know all that we are sexually? But if you don't know all the things that comes with it,
Then you need to take one of my classes so you can find out about who you
She
are.
did take one. We should take a second one. I bet you my
So
my
what
score went
is-
up even more.
So we
So
I had the best score. I just
Nikki
want you to know
Phelps, so what is the sexual deal breaker? Not doing different stuff? When we talk
Well,
about
it's
sex,
different for
could be an
different
issue.
people.
What is it?
It's not a blanket answer. You can't
All right.
say that. It's, oh my goodness, when it comes, sex is very complex. And like I said, even though I counsel couples about sexual situations, if they really have a sexual disorder, I have to refer them to a specialist. Because now when we're talking about preferences, you'll be surprised at how many people, especially women, have been violated as children. And so that comes into play. Now we're dealing with sex and role play and different things. People haven't been healed, or he's just mad because she won't let me, go in the back door. Well, do you know that she might have been gang raped in the back door, but no one wants to talk about that. But all these things just lie dormant. We don't talk about them. And then again, I just might not like having it in my mouth. Okay? Can I just say I don't like it?
You don't
I
like
don't
what's
want it. Whatever. Just fill in the blank. Whatever.
Oral sex, I don't care what you call it.
I didn't know if you meant come. I didn't know if you meant. Can we say? What
Yeah.
words
Now we're
can
gonna say
we
it 3 times. Can we say?
What
Can we
words
say?
what words can we say on here? Because I don't know if it's G-rated, PG.
Why do you want to talk about cum?
We can say every word
No, I
except for
wanna
the
say
F and the.
Oh, yeah, cum.
No, I'm gonna say dick.
I don't know. We can't say
You
that.
can't. I don't think you say that one. I don't think you say that one. You can say penis. You can put a penis in your
Penis,
mouth on the show.
penis,
Okay.
fellatio,
Okay.
what?
Fellatio. If I don't like penis in my mouth, I should be able to say I don't like penis in my mouth.
I thought it was a bread.
And
Oh
then
my God! I remember when I first heard that. No. No, Buddy Love. So
That's
my
focaccia.
no, my parents they didn't care what I was doing out here.
I thought it was
So
an
my
Italian
mom gave
bread.
me-
I'm like, I'm going to the Italian store. Let me some of the fellatio
That is
bread y'all got.
focaccia.
Y'all got some fellatio bread. They looking at me like, excuse me, sir.
Just like I
What the
thought
bread
oral
y'all
sex
got
is when
in
you
the
stand
back?
around and talk about it.
Oh yeah.
I thought oral sex was when you stand around and talk about it. So like I went to a party and came back and my parents was like, "What was y'all doing?" Everybody was standing around having oral sex. It was boring. What? I was like, yeah, they was having oral sex.
So right now, I guess we're having oral sex.
Or again,
Buddy Love it there, y'all
back
performing live.
back to the fellatio bread.
Right.
So again, we need to have a comfortable place, because what if my man say, if you don't like fellatio, it's a deal breaker for me, because my wife has to do that.
Well,
I
then,
don't want to
so
find
then y'all
out
shouldn't be
after I'm
disagreeing.
married. That should be a conversation.
That's why you
we
should
have.
try it before you buy it.
But a lot of the problem, that goes back to what we were saying before, a lot of the problem stems from your grassroots, because someone like myself, when I got married, I was in the church, and I was so busy trying to fit into this good girl mentality that, believe it or not, people that know me don't believe it, but I promise you, I 100% am not lying. I did not have sex with my husband before we got married, and the people that know me...
I'm sorry, most people don't do that anymore.
No. Let me finish. Let me finish, because I'm going to say, pardonnez-moi, that we did not have any type of sexual relations before we got married. However, after being married for more than 15 years, I would say that I would, if I were counseling, if I were giving advice, lending advice to anyone that were aspiring to get married, I would say you need to test that out before you drive it. Because here's the thing, that's where the sexual incompatibility comes in. Because you can't discuss something that you've never tried. You're not gonna go out and buy a Cadillac Escalade. You're not gonna go out there and buy a Rolls Royce if you ain't never got in it and drove it. It may look nice. It may look nice and beautiful. It may be a Phantom. It could be.
No, that's true. That's not true. Because you might like the Rolls Royce, you might like the look of it, but you really need a Maserati.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, you're not going to go out and buy something that you have never test driven.
No, a Rolls Royce, I don't need to test drive a Rolls, honey.
Really?
I don't need to test drive a Rolls. You give me a Rolls, I don't need to test drive. Just give me the keys.
Well, then you're going to be back on your vision board, buddy, as the Rolls sits in front of your house.
Because you really wanted a Bentley.
It's going to be a whole lot of maintenance.
Because you really wanted a Bentley.
So wait, I need to go back to this. So you're saying that even with your role, your current role.
Yes, I am an ordained elder, and I am saying test it. Test it out. Come on,
Shelly,
people.
I just want to come back here. Shelly,
I like that.
No, we've had conversations. Shelly and I have had conversations about this all the time. And I told her that there's some things that our mama told me, and she was always shocked about it. First, you single till you married.
Boom.
Second.
Thank you.
Second, it's a poor rat that only got one hole. Always have options, baby girl.
Exactly right.
Third, try it before you buy it.
Thank you.
Why? And I mean, I'm just okay. So our parents, they were married 48 years when my father died, and we talked about sex a lot. Like really talked about it. And our mother told me, now this is interesting, that her generation, they were getting married at 18, right out of high school. She said, you know what happened? I'm gonna tell you what happened. Because our mother was one of the original, I don't want to get married, I don't want to change my last name, I want to go to college, I want to do this. She said, what happened? All her little girlfriends went and got married, and then Vietnam happened.
Oh no.
And then they got orgasms for the first time while their husband was overseas, because the two dudes with the flat feet was blowing everybody back out up there in Germantown and Mount Airy. And they was like, wait a minute, this is what I was supposed to be getting?
Yeah.
So now these men came back and the wives are sitting there like this. So my mother's answer was she wasn't gonna be that chick that had never test driven to find out whether or not he was gonna be licking and sucking what he needed to be before he got to the.
I always say this. Think about it like this. Can I challenge anyone on this panel or in this audience to tell me one decision that you make in your life, one contractual legal obligation that you make in your life that is forever, that you can never change it without having to go through a plethora of financial and mental and emotional strain to be able to get out? Name one.
Student loans.
No, because you can pay those off.
No. You said without going through whatever.
No, I said that it will be that you will make forever. Marriage is forever. Forever is a long time.
But people don't really last forever.
Well, it's theoretically.
So student loans are forever, theoretically.
No, you can pay them off.
You're supposed to pay them off. Theoretically, student loans are supposed to be paid off. We're not talking about the trick.
I don't know nobody who did. So.
No, we're not. I did. Excuse me, I paid off my husband's student loans, okay? He didn't even know it was paid off. but it was paid off. Look, some of us went to Lincoln and still paying for our student loans. Okay, so what that got to do with it?
My whole point in saying that is marriage is a decision that you make. It is a legal binding document. It is a contractual obligation that you enter into, and you should enter into that contractual obligation wisely and well informed. As my esteemed colleague here, my girlfriend here, the doctor / Esquire, I'm sure you see many people that come into your office needing your assistance having not been fully informed. So why would you do all of that and invest all of your time and all of your everything, but yet not do that part of it?
Because you're saying, like, if you've been taught, I mean, year after year after year, you are not supposed to have sex. And I'm not gonna make this a sex before marriage. I'm just surprised you said it. But you've been taught all your years not to try it. Don't do this. Don't have sex before marriage. That is gonna be a hard thing to break out.
And yet we still have children out of wedlock in the church. So stop it.
Don't have sex, just make love. That's a whole different kind of category.
Really?
That's right.
Okay.
That's how you can justify it. I didn't have sex, Mom. I just made love. I can justify it.
All right, so after 15 years of marriage, all right, you're there. So what are some other things you tried? Because basically you have a store and you tried, you talk about different things.
Well, this is really what started me on my journey, because I actually was an aspiring attorney. And that was my passion from when I was a teenager, that I just knew I was going to be this attorney, and the criminal law is still my passion. I still love it, but my passion and my direction, my vision has changed. My vision has changed because I saw a need, and what I found was there were so many people that were in ministry with me. There were so many people that I came in contact on a daily walk. I was working in corporate America. I wasn't thinking about all this. All I knew is that I didn't want to work for someone for the rest of my life. I knew I could not be somebody else's assistant or assistant pimp, as I would say. I couldn't do that for the rest of my life. I had to do something for myself. And what I found was people would come and talk to me about their issues, and it always stemmed around relationships and sex. Everything always stemmed. I don't care from the for all of it. I mean, no matter who it was, no matter what the situation. And a lot of times in ministry, people would come and they would whisper and they would tell me things. Teenagers, married people, old people, young people, and it would always. And I said, I never understood, and I wanted to provide a space where people can come and be open and not be judged, and be able to find assistance and find toys, find whatever they need, and feel like they can be themselves and not have someone judge them. And I could not find it. Not in the city of Philadelphia, not in New Jersey, not anywhere within at least an hour to an hour and a half's drive here. So I said, you know what, I'll do it myself, and that's what I did.
And what'd you
So what'd you do?
So you created a place where you can go be sexually free. Is that what it is?
Well,
I'm like, what's going on in there?
let's be specific now. Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Tom wants to come.
I am the owner and proprietor of Indulgence Boutique at 325 South Street. It is an adult store at 325 South Street.
I never knew that was your store.
That's me.
Wait a minute. I'm like, I've been in there.
I didn't know that was your special.
Wait a minute.
Grab the
This is
microphone.
why I love this lady, because what she says is so true. Because me personally, I found her. I went to a couple of her classes, and I didn't tell her who I was or why I was there, what I was doing. But I felt wonderful. I felt warm. I felt love. I was just sitting in there with regular, everyday people. We having fun. Everybody having a good time.
This is all because she brought us in here long years.
Sure, that wasn't the product.
I didn't know that was you, though. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Okay. Because, wait a minute, we done grown some more since we done started. We're ready, I think, as a group, single on a Saturday night, to explore our sexuality together.
Yes,
I don't know about 10 years ago.
Then we going down
I
St.
know. It was like Shelly was going to pass out.
No, we're gonna.
You know about it.
Ain't nobody going to St.
My black
Center.
card.
So
No,
we can't go in there.
My black card.
All right.
Yes, she
Shelly's
can.
over here masturbating and
Unlearn.
stuff. We doing it.
Ooh. Wait a minute. You just ain't going to slip that in there.
Right. Oh, you don't remember that? Look, we had a whole show about self-love and pleasuring.
Self-love
and
is
apparently,
Self-love is awesome.
somebody on this panel had never, ever been there before.
You should try it. It's
So,
a wonderful
I'm
thing.
saying, so you don't remember that? So we actually had a show about it. And so many years later, how we doing, Shelly?
It's doing well. It's like great. It actually really works really well. So I feel feel like
You feel like a new person, Shelly.
I do what I feel like when you say, how do you know whether you know? I didn't really know myself, what I wanted, what my body wanted, until I honestly really listened. Honestly, the classes work, because you got to know, how can I go into a marriage if I ever went that way? If I was going towards marriage, if I don't even know what I want, I don't even know what makes me feel good. So that's why we wanted to go into different classes. We're definitely going to go into and we're having another class.
I didn't know this.
Yes, we are having another class.
I think Danielle, I'm gonna have you be my assistant. I think you can teach it with me. I think we could do it together.
I'm in the class. So for y'all that didn't see that episode, so when we did it, we had like a whole survey and we had all these questions, we had to fill them out. And see, I think that I'm very vanilla. I think that my sex is very vanilla. I do. I think it's very basic.
Vanilla?
That's the point. So actually what one of my friends told me, he said, you know, vanilla is the basis for everything, even chocolate. He was like, you take that vanilla, put some sprinkles on some whipped cream, some cherry, as long as you down for the cause, I can shape vanilla into whatever I want it to be. And he was right, because I got the highest score in the class. I'm an overachiever.
She did get the highest score in the class, and believe it or not, I got the lowest score in the class. But this time it's
She
going
got
to
like
be
a
different.
6. But can I say that?
Now, Nikki, do people, as they're with their partner, as they get older, do you find people more open to do different things or more closed to do different things sexually?
Again, I hate blanket statements, because everybody comes with their own baggage. Some people come when they're young and they're ready. They had a wild lifestyle. They just ready to get out there, do anything, everything, and try it. And then after a couple of bumps and bruises and putting themselves out there, then they want to pull back a little bit. Then you have some people that, I don't like to pick on the church, let's just say grew up with a certain expectation about sex and what it was and wasn't supposed to be, and they waited for a very long time, and then all of a sudden now they're 30 or 35 and they decide, oh, now I need to get out here and find out, and they have not a clue. They missed a lot of time. Think about it when a child is growing up with your milestones. When you're a kid, you do things at certain times. It's natural to be, when you go through puberty, to like women, girls or boys or both or whatever it is you're into, and you have to be able to talk about and explore those feelings without shame or guilt. Most of our sex comes from shame, guilt, pornos, whatever, but they didn't come from someone to sit your kids down and talk to you about your finances. They'll sit down and talk to you about your education.
No, but that's the thing.
But they won't sit down and talk to you about sexuality and sex. And most of us got to figure it out. And who do we figure it out with? The person we're having sex with, who most
don't
of the
know
time,
anything either.
depending on your age, everybody comes with their baggage, their agenda. What they bring to the table may not be what you bring to the table. And again, now we have couples that don't know anything about money, how we deal with money. I don't know anything about fellatio bread, and this is what you expected. But yet, I made a decision to be with you for the rest of my life until death do us part. So here we are, 5 years from now, we managed to buy or get a Rolls Royce in a house. Now we got to see this young lady right here, because we fighting, because I want to keep my house and my Rolls Royce, and you like, no, you don't. But if we would have had these conversations in the beginning, we may not be at this place where we fighting over a house and a Rolls Royce.
Which is why we have Single on a Saturday night. But before we go to this break, I want to talk to Rock the Wine, because we're going to go to a performance. I get it, before we go to a performance of Rock the Wine, right? So tell us about your project, what you're about to sing, and your artistry, really quickly, because we have to go.
My name is Rock the Wine. I am a visionary.
Excuse me?
Entrepreneur myself.
And he is chocolate.
Are you single? I am single, yes I am.
How old are you, hey?
I'm 27.
Oh, I feel like somebody got to learn them. Somebody got to learn them. Anyway, let me stop.
No, but I got a project, H2O, dropping in October. It's the second EP from my humble. The first one, about a year ago, I dropped it. I actually got a clothing line I'm about to drop. It's called Game Changes, sports based. But I actually want to can I piggyback off something?
Give it to us.
I mean, because I was listening to y'all talk, but that's really the key in relationships. It's like, you see somebody you like, the first thing you say is like, they're attractive, like, oh man, like, so it's like, that's really where you at. And it's like, you may present yourself to me a way that you think I'm